Welcome to the next video in the series, episode number 7, and we're going to start looking at step number 12, which is fitting some platforms and pistons to a back panel. That will go next to the digging wheel. First step is to take the background panel and fit one of the shelves to the appropriate pins. And we can do this just by using some extra thin. The next stage is to fit together two of the halves for one of the pistons, like so. And again, we can glue that together with some extra thin. And we simply do that by just painting the seam, letting it soak in, squeezing it together, and it will form a tight bond. And once they're glued together, just take some standing sticks and just neaten up the seams. Make sure there's no glue stuck on the outside, and making it look tidy. And then we can glue it to the platform that we fitted onto the panel. And repeat the step 2 more times. And that's basically stage 12 done.
Trees aren't green, the ocean is grey, sky is a vague blue, come my way. My room is a mess, it could use a hand. My favorite TV shows to capture in. I know I must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise, I think I'll let it slide. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems. I know I can't make it through. Every night it's the same, I keep running fast, left and right, wondering where my head's gone now. I'm sleepwalking through all of my problems. I know all of my problems. I know. Where did it go? The feeling of thirst, desire to be a rock in my heels. I'm numb as a poison, flows in my veins. Guess I got used to avoiding the pain. I know I must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't.
And it should look something like this when it's finished. As you can see, the top platform is slightly offset from the other two. The next stage is number 14, and it's the main digging arm that encompasses the digging wheel on the front and the conveyor through the middle. Later on you'll see that I encountered a major problem with this part. We'll go into detail on that a little bit more later on, but let's start the build with the cutting wheel. To put the cutting wheel together, you need to put the two halves, the main side and the inside, and there's 2 pegs and 2 holes on each side to line it up. So you want to do that and then glue it firmly around the entire middle. And once you're happy that's stuck together, we can start putting in the buckets. Each of the buckets has a flange around the base, and if you look closely on the actual wheel itself, there's 2 ridges on either side, And you want to place the bucket in central with one of the holes, and in such a way that the flange is seated inside the ridges. Glue it in place, and then repeat for the other 17 buckets.
Trees aren't green, the ocean is grey, sky is a vague blue, come my way. My room is a mess, it could use a hand. My favorite TV shows to capture in. I know must get it right, must get back in the fight. This can't be a surprise, I think I'll let it slide.
And once you've got all the buckets in place and it's all secured with extra thin glue, this is how it should look. Remember, the buckets face upwards, not downwards, like a traditional digger. So make sure that you get the correct orientation. And then it was onto the main part, which was the digger arm. But this is where I ran into a problem. And as I was putting it together, I realized that it was very heavily warped. So after a couple of hours of trying to straighten it out, I managed to get it looking half decent. Still a bit more that needs doing. But once it's done and tidied up, it shouldn't be obvious that there was a problem to begin with. So let's just take a quick look at how it is at the moment and what we're going to be doing to rectify the problem. So this first step was fine, no problems at all. As I put together the main structure of the arm, that's when I noticed the warping. So I'm going to cut ahead. I turned the cameras off pretty soon after this, as I knew it was going to take a while, and it took several hours to get it into a half decent state, and it'll probably take another hour at least to make sure that it's looking good before it's primed and painted. Okay, so we have the finished stage here with the ancillary bits, the platform for the top and the background panel with the pistons and the cutting wheel. We also have the arm itself, and I'll just go through the problems that we had with this. First of all, the main problem is at the front here, with this section here, which is slightly warped outwards, and this side is slightly warped outwards as well, and you can see that from the top-down view. It's going to take adjustments here to bring it across, and we're probably going to cut out some material to do this and then bring it towards the wheel. If we put the wheel in, you can see that when the wheel's straight, both sides are slightly out of alignment. So whichever way it was glued, it's going to be awkward, to say the least, without the adjustments that need to be made. But we can see that it's the actual structure on the right hand side that's most out of line. And once the adjustments are made, this panel here will actually cover up this side, neaten it up, and we'll also bring it into a bit more alignment, which is a good thing. And once this platform is fitted above that, again, it can be used to bring it into alignment. So that's this side sorted out. As you can see, the conveyor belt still fits through the middle, and the rear section is fine. That's almost totally in alignment. As you can see, the supports are pretty square. Up to about this point here, everything's fine along this section. And from this angle, it's much more noticeable that the front is out of kilter. So it's just a case of cutting out some material and re-gluing it along this seam here to bring it a bit more in line. And that should hopefully straighten it out completely. I've had to remove only 3 parts, which was 2 supports and the mounting pin for the wheel, which I replaced with a bit of sprue that I cut off, just to make fitting it after painting a little bit easier. I'm going to put it to the side for the time being and carry on, but I don't think it's going to be a major disaster, and it should be fixable. The main problem was this piece here on the cutting wheel itself. That is supposed to mount on pins on this section here and here, but when it does, it's off at an angle and exacerbates the problem, though that will have to be glued into place in a different way once the frame is squared up, but that shouldn't be an issue once everything else is fitted. So all in all, once everything's in place, it's going to look a lot more neater and less obvious that there's a problem. And this is the first major problem that I've come across with the kit, so it's not altogether too bad. And it's definitely fixable. It's just going to take a bit of time. Okay, so that's where we're going to leave the video for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you'll keep watching as we sort this problem out and carry on with the build, as we're starting to get to the more complicated sections. So please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.